Namaste. So we have a beautiful actress. So can you introduce what you do?
So I'm a South Indian actress. I would like to call myself as that. Basically, I'm an engineer, civil engineer. So while I was pursuing my engineering degree, I used to do a lot of modeling, and when I started working, I also got into acting, theatre plays. So that's when my calling came in. And I started getting offers for TV shows. First, I did a movie. Actually, it was a blockbuster movie, but I played the lead's friend in that. So, but that time I had not taken it that seriously. My mindset was like, I'll get back into MNC and again start working and start getting promotions in a company and start working under someone. But I don't know how it happened that the company didn't do well, and we all of us had to resign. And by that time, this acting was already going on for me. So I got few offers to do serials. I accepted it. I was doing a play actually. So while I was doing the play, I got an offer from a Kannada channel. They told me that there is this one particular serial that we are shooting, and we would like to take you in as a negative lead in that. So I was like, okay, why not? Let me just see. And that's how the journey started. And today I'm doing a third show actually. It's also high rate. TRP is like high, and it's a blockbuster serial. And now I think,
So how many episodes has been came out?
my past serial completed 1,000 episodes, and this particular serial is completing 500 episodes.
Okay. So more than 2-3 years.
Yeah. So now I can call myself a full-fledged actor.
Okay. So how do you got interested into in this particular podcast? What you want to know?
Okay. So first of all, I would like to say, more than podcast, I am more interested in the subjects that you are interested in. So like you know, we came across through the online medium. We met each other. So I went through about you. Like what you do and what are your subjects of interest, and also that I got to know that you have written a lovely, beautiful book. So I started going.
Tell me correctly, is that lovely book over?
This is
you have gone through the book.
I have read about 25% of the book.
Okay.
So from what I read, this is really very interesting. This is why it is interesting, because I already had interest in this subject at a very young age. So that interest in between, because of my work, acting, everything, it got disconnected. And I think maybe it's coincidence or what, I don't know what to call it as, that again I have come in touch with you, who is dealing with the same subject that I was interested many years back. So this book actually caters to that kind of readers who want to know more about that subject. Because when the doctor in this book he's talking about astrology, so he is asking certain questions. The questions that he is asking is also my questions. So any layman can read this book and he can understand. Any person who doesn't have any knowledge about the subjects that you are specialized in, he can read this book and he can understand what you're talking about. It's not like it's not very complicated for any person. Like usually only somebody who has gone way ahead in this subject, if he reads this book, then only he can understand. It's not like that. Anyone can pick this book up and he can read and he can understand what kind of subjects you are dealing with and
see when I'm looking into the particular subject, like it's about human transcendence. See, when we speak about the talking about the telling about the future. For example, we did a tarot card reading when we met. So it's how, like, you know, it's not just about telling the future. Like, there is a dimension, like, you know, you can open up your senses into another dimension where you can actually integrate, like, you know, what we call it as like shadow work. There is a shadow self of you. So my new book is all about that, like, you know, so there is a shadow self which everybody has, and when they see that particular shadow self, and when they integrate that into the reality, they can see the reality as it is. So what happens, their senses will increase, open up, like, you know, like, you can feel more, you can experience more. So this is something. See, when I'm talking about God, I really don't know whether God exists or no. I have no idea about that. But when you understand your own self, now when you integrate your own self, like, you feel like, you know, attached to many beings around you, and you can actually read people's mind and things like that. This is and all first step of this. Like, the rishis called as siddhis, like, you know, you get siddhis, like, so you can awaken people, like, you know, you can see people, like with the tantric healing, this is what I do. I can actually evoke prana in people. So what happens, they can experience more. It's not about, like, you know, like, some people ask me, like, you know, can you do something to help me to overcome this particular issues. Like, if your prana is there in that issue, you can actually overcome. You can, like, you know, you can attract wealth, you can get the things done. So this is something which can be done. But this is like, in people's call it as jadoo kind of thing, like, but tantra has nothing to do with that, like, you know, it's all about empowering and liberation, like, you know, like, how you empower your own self, and how you can liberate your own self from the worldly attachment, what I would like to call, like, you know, like, there is family, there is friends, so we feel attached to all these people, and like, you know, what happens when we lose somebody or something, we actually suffer. It's because of this kind of thing, like, you know, it's attachment. So if we are not attached, we can actually go for what we really want, like, you know, we can actually get what exactly we really needed, like, you know.
Okay.
So what got you interested into this subject, like, you know, if you want, I can.
Yeah, before that I would like to say, so what you're trying to say is, I think from what I have heard from you, once you get in touch with the shadow self of yourself, like everybody, so according to you, is this part of Tantra that it says that there is a shadow self to each and every being?
It's Kali.
It's called
like
Kali.
Like, you know, there is a particular kind of meditation. It is called Dashvidya Sadhana. Like, we start from Kali. That Kamakhya, we have this Dashvidya temple. Okay, this is where if we go, there is almost all kind of occult practices happens, like offering the you know, animals and things like that. It's almost all the time it is blood, this particular temple. So this is almost all kind of occult steps happens. But if we go deep into the goddesses which are residing in this particular temple, you start from Kali. Kali is your dark self, your shadow self. So when you understand your shadow self, you will go to the next level. Kali, Tara, Shodasi, like that. The 10 goddesses are there. You will go from one by to the up to the 10th. So Kali is your shadow self, like, actually. So this is something which we have to understand, and we have to analyze and get into.
Then,
like, you know. So if you worship Kali, this is called Bhakti Yoga, worshipping. When you understand Kali, this is called Raja Yoga.
Okay.
So with jnana, like with reasoning, you are approaching Kali. So this is your shadow self, like, you know, in new age philosophy, like, you know, Carl Jung, he is talking about the deepest subconscious mind and things, sort of steps like that. So this is actually, we understood long back, this is Kali actually. So Kali is very fearsome, like, you know, she's like with a lot of things she will come.
So everybody have a darker side to themselves, is what
One, yeah,
And most
exactly.
of them, I think, whenever I interact with so many friends or colleagues or co-actors, I come across with this sentence where they say there is another side to me, there's another side to me, without even realizing that there is another side to them, and if they connect to that side, they can achieve success, they
They
can
can empower.
empower
Success.
themselves.
Success is like, this word is actually like, how do you define success? What is success actually is?
Okay.
Like, for example, like what is success? Is that materialistic wealth? Even if you get materialistic wealth also, if you are not feeling content, you still starve for more.
True, true.
So
What is success
what is success? That you have to define. Like,
define themselves. Whoever is seeking success, they have to define
that
what
success.
what kind of success they are after.
They are after.
Because
like,
your success may not be my success, my success may not be your success. But what happens in today's, I think people are living in ignorance in today's day and generation. Why? Because, like you said, success is different to each and every person. But nowadays everybody are looking at one successful person and trying to run after that particular person, thinking that is success. Let's say, for example, cricket, or even acting, movies, or these are the things which are shown more on media, and these are the people who are very successful, because they for the generation, or for the common, for every people, success is when you have a lot of money, and your name is there, that you have a lot of money and you're achieving something in your field of work. So what happens is, people are like so ignorant, thinking that if you become very successful in cricket and make a big name, then you're successful. But they forget that if any job that they're doing, let's say in a software firm, if they become if they achieve what they want in their work, and they get some monetary benefits out of it, that's also called as success. But most of them are like living in denial. They think that success is fame, success is popularity, success is money. What do you think about this? What do you have to say about this?
Like, as I said, you have to defend your success.
Self. Yeah.
Yourself, like,
Self. Yeah. Success is
success
very,
like,
very subjective. This
yeah,
is so
exactly.
beautiful. I think everybody should they should know that we shouldn't run after somebody else's success.
No, we have to
your own success.
Yeah, but you have to actually define what exactly.
Yeah. We can't really say, oh, look at him, today is a day and like age of Instagram, where everybody is posting things. Success, when people start looking at social media, they see and they say, oh wow, this particular person has 2 million followers. Why does he have 2 million followers? Maybe he is up at a certain thing. Let's say he is talking about cricket, or he is talking about dancing, and that particular person has 2 million followers. Suddenly there are huge number of followers who are after dancing. They don't know what they want. They're only looking at that person's
See, like,
followers.
tell me this, like, how did you felt when you did your first movie or first series, like
First movie, actually,
the moment you come to the camera, you are seeing all the camera lights are coming up,
wow,
and somebody is all behind, and everything is color. How did you felt like?
I felt like I was living in a fairy world, in a fantasy world, and I mean, because that was not the thing I was after. For me, I come from an official family where there are a lot of officers, like engineers, doctors, only engineers, doctors, that's all. So for me also, even I had this pressure on me that you also become an engineer. That's all I knew, that become an engineer. So when I had this break in between is when I got this movie offer. So in this movie, there are all big names. I didn't even know actually that they had made such huge names. Right now, they're actually big names. I wouldn't tell who, but they're really big names. So when I saw them in person, when I saw that particular hero walking across, I was like, oh my God, is it really happening? Have I really been achieving this? I never thought that as a success. I was just like this child who is just enjoying. She just went to a garden, she just went to a park, and she's just looking at the beauty of the nature and all the fountains and lights, and she's just enjoying, right? I had that feeling when I did my first movie scene.
Did you felt that is success?
At that moment, I didn't feel that was success.
Then what was your mind in that
time? At that point of time in my mind was, I saw this hero, the lead actress, and they were doing so well, and I was, let's say, in terms of acting, they had this huge dialogues, and all the cameras were focusing on them. So, but I was standing somewhere at the side as their friend, and for me, at that point of time, I felt reaching to their place was success.
Okay. Then did you reach it there, like, you know, in a series?
Yeah, serial and all. But I was not after it. I felt in that particular industry, in that the place where they are standing is the successful place, is what I felt. Because I felt like that for an actor, that is success. But for me as Deepa, as a person, that was not success. For me, success was like doing MBA or because my parents have put that in my mind, saying that you join a big company and become a big CEO, that's your success. That was defined to me. So I accepted this movie offer in my break time. So for me, back of the mind was, after this movie shooting and all is done, I have to get back to Bangalore and start pursuing my success.
Okay.
So, but I didn't even realize that my success was lying there.
Then right now, what do you feel?
Right now, I feel I'm 10% successful.
10% is
success.
If somebody want to start into movie or acting, do you have something to say to them, like, you know?
Yes,
like from your experience, like 3-4 years maybe in industry.
No, my experience, if I start from my acting, I started at a very young age during my PUC and all that. It's been like 10 years almost. 10 years,
10
decade.
years.
So acting industry, modeling industry, fashion industry. So my words of advice would be, go after it only if you really want it. Don't go after it only because it looks glamorous, because it looks like people there may be making a lot of money, or because it looks like people there may be happy. Don't go after this industry because you have that assumption in your mind. And if you have that assumption in your mind, and if you're coming into this field, you will be disappointed.
In what way, like? In what way?
See, don't come with that thought. Only if you are after the art, only if you are after the creativity, only if you love the expression, only if you love the fashion, then come in. But only with those goals in your mind you can come in. If that is your goal, the goal of doing well in fashion, like creating good clothes, if you have goals of doing ultimate expression of a particular mood, let's say crying, happy, sad, if you think that you can express them better on screen, and this is the medium, then come in. But not for the reasons for like fame, money and happiness. No. that those three things is what you yourself have to search for, get it, and it never is got in jobs or work.
Like let's imagine like this way, okay? Like, how do you scale? Do you have fame? How do you, like, I mean to say, like, you know, how do you feel that I'm famous? Which extent, like, you know, like, for example, somebody is famous. How can they understand whether they are famous?
Famous or not? Yeah, that comes to me. Famous. initially, when you are starting out as an ordinary person, and you don't know if that particular show is going to be a hit, or it's going to be a flop, or it's going to reach people or not. But you just do it as a part of your work, and then one day it's out there, the result is out there, but you are not aware that the result has already become a success, but you're still doing your work. Then one day when you go out there in the crowd, one person comes and says, "Hey, I've seen you." So that when that one person says, "Hey, I have seen you," that first person is your happiness. That only one person is where you feel, "Wow, you know what? Today somebody recognized me." After second day, third day, fourth days, next month, people start coming to you and they start giving negative comments. You know what? I saw you in the serial. I didn't like that. Slowly, it starts touching the other side of your emotion. That's when you have to balance the positive and the negative sides of the popularity. So you start feeling you're popular when whatever you do, whatever you post, or whatever you wear is being judged by others. Others who don't even know you, and they start talking about you like they know you very well. That's when you know that you have made a name somewhere and people are talking about you something which may be true or which may not be true. But in my belief, I don't place that much importance on popularity. I feel I place a lot of importance on work, what a particular person does in that particular field. If somebody says, like if I was an engineer, and if my boss would have come and recognized my work and said, "Hey, great work," that would have been an happiness for me. If my co-workers come and tell me, "Hey, you know what, we absolutely love that you're part of the team because you work so well," then that is a great recognition for me. But that's how it is even in terms of acting. When I'm going out and people come and tell, "I really loved your acting," that's when I like it. But when people come and start judging me for my personal life, or for what I'm doing in the show, and telling me things like, "We didn't like what you did in the show," it's not in my hands. It's not in my hands. They have to understand, but I can't blame them either, because they are so so stuck into that story that they forget that it is not the truth. It is just a fictional story, and we are all just actors. It happens most of the times, especially to the negative characters. Now that I'm playing the positive character, I'm getting good reviews. People come and show sympathy to me. They come and they touch me like this, and so many ladies, they kiss my cheek and they say, "Oh, we are so sad that this is happening to you. Don't feel sad," and all that. I'll be like, okay, ma'am, okay.
So like in movie, this is the thing, like in office there is a limitation, like if we do something and boss comes and say this is good, and somebody else say this, you did something bad on the team, and things has gone very wrongly. But when it comes to the movie and acting, you do something and somebody else will pursue you as something else, and they express what they perceived from you in their own thought, and it will get reflected on your own mind. This is how I perceived you in my mind, and this is how I feel about you. So this is a, how do you feel, like this is a way of expressing self, right? Like
Yeah, this is actually right. That's what you said is right. I express myself in my own way, but the opposite person perceives himself in the way I express, and then he connects to me on those basis.
From his mind,
From
like
his mindset,
what he made out
he
of
has,
he perceived from your own,
from his mindset. So that's why I never get upset or disturbed for the persons who are approaching me when they perceive me in a negative way. So far, 80% of the time I've got only positive responses to me, but few here and there when they give those negative perceptions, I don't blame them. I only blame sometimes uh, my field of work. I blame it. I keep telling this field of work itself is like that. Actors most of the time are perceived in a way, the kind of characters they play, so they have to be very choosy. But if they have this I don't care attitude, let me do whatever I want, I don't care anybody what they think about me, then they should be ready to take even the negative comments, what it is coming. They shouldn't be angry on those group of people who are talking negatively about them, because they should understand that they are perceiving them from their side of understanding. Because once we start sitting with them in person and start talking, even the stranger will start understanding our field of work. So that's how it is. Most of them I see sometimes some co-actors or many other actors getting a bit upset about certain people for being negative about them, about their characters. Or I feel when you shouldn't be like, see, feelings, we can't ask anybody to stop feeling a certain way.
Correct.
Yeah, we can't. Even the actor might be feeling sad about that particular, but sooner or later she or he has to do that introspection about himself and also about the others who are perceiving him. That's when the problem will be solved. He will also not take those comments so personally to his heart, and he won't be getting that much disturbed that much he would be otherwise. Even I initially I would get disturbed when somebody would comment on my dressing sense. Most of them would say it is good, but imagine when I'm getting only positive response, just one or two negative response had an impact on me. Imagine those people who are doing full-blown negative roles and they're getting only negative comments about them. Imagine the impact. It definitely affects them a lot, and those actors have to do a lot of introspection. They have to be very, very strong emotionally. Emotionally, they have to become.
This is called the shadow work. Like, there is a darker side of you is existing. Okay. And what happens if you express it? Like, you are expressing it through some other actress. Like, like for example, some other character in a movie. Like, when you act, you have to live that particular character. Like, then only you can actually experience and express. So when the viewer watch this particular character, he will experience something. Okay, so now you are actually safe, because you are actually not living that life of the character,
so and so character.
So you are living some other life, but you are expressed in some certain way, and this made a feeling on another person. Okay, you understood. So now what happens is, like, he relate, that perceiver relate himself to you through the character which you expressed. Okay.
True.
So now the question is, like, how do you express? There is something which is never lived in your part. Some part which is never lived. Like, you want to live that life, and you never lived, and you are scared. I'm not talking about you, like, generally. So there is something which is scaring you to stop. So that's why Kali is very scary. There is a life which you have to live.
Right. So, I got it.
Okay, now tell me what it would be like if I want to live that life.
To live, it will be very scary. It will be very, very scary. Along with the Kali, that side of me that I am dealing with, I'll also have to end up dealing with the Kali side of other people also.
Exactly. So this is how they will express themselves to the Kali. Because you are true.
Yeah. So let's say now I started getting in touch with the Kali side of me, and that side of me is coming out. Now I am not the angel one.
No, there is angel. There is nothing like angel, because like you don't have to be good to somebody in order to live your fullest life. So you are making somebody else to feel good about you, just to feel safe. Like so society is conditioned in this particular way. So you feel good about that because I made him to feel good. But that is not your true life. Like that is not your original life. That is not your. See. It is not the reality which you are dealing with, because you feel if I make that person to feel nice about whatever I am expressing through, like what happens is that the reflection which comes from that particular person will make you nice also. But the thing is, like, it may not be reality until at last you are living that particular life, like
Yeah.
so this, when you express your Kali side, so tell me what you want to express.
My Kali side. My Kali side.
You want to be the person who told you that you played a wrong character.
No. I am definitely not that person. But if I am reaching to my Kali side, then I would definitely get back at all the people who have done wrong onto me. I wouldn't be in the forgiving. I would definitely go back to them and I would tell them, look, what you've done is not right. This is absolutely wrong. But since I'm not in that side of Kali, I'm being this nice, good human. I've been like, it's okay, it happens. I understand what has gone wrong with you. That's okay, it happens. No, I didn't mind. No, I don't mind. I am right now in that. But otherwise, if I come to the Kali side, I would definitely go to that person and say, hey, no, that was wrong. You shouldn't have done that. Now, you have to make it up for me.
That is Kali.
Yeah, now make it up for me. Otherwise, I'm going to curse you.
Exactly. And it's a bit scary also.
It's very scary, but it's so scary that what I feel is, if a person gets, like, let's say if I am trying to get back or get even with someone and try to tell them to make it up for me, and if he or she doesn't make it up for me, the Kali is very, very powerful God. She wants it to be done, what she says, and she'll go to any extent. And that extent will be so much that in that extent she might end up destroying and destructing herself as well.
You have to really able to see that
side. So I'm scared of that side.
And the Kali is very loving mother also.
She's very loving. She's very loving. You know what happens? I think Kali side exists only in people who are very loving. What do you think?
If everybody has the courage to express themselves in right place at right time, like they can actually live an authentic life. An empowered life.
Empowered, right?
So there will be less drama if you live an authentic life.
Less suffering.
Less suffering, because what is suffering? Ultimately, suffering is like only thing which can suffer is your mind, right? Like there is no suffering actually. What is actually feels like suffering is mind, and that doesn't exist actually.
That
mind
won't exist.
Mind doesn't exist. Like
Right. Like now I get it. Like what I was saying that time is, me being the nice person, when somebody does something to me which I don't really approve of, because of the conditioned niceness that a person is supposed to behave in, I would have told him, okay, that's fine, don't mind, it's okay, I didn't mind, that's fine, don't feel sorry about it. But otherwise, if I had to deal with that particular injustice or unfair behavior, then I think it would have been sorted then and there. I wouldn't go back home and start suffering in my mind thinking, God, how can he do that to me? Ain't there anybody who is going to go to him and tell him that what he did was wrong? This is the suffering in my head, and it will not stay for a day. It will keep going each and every day. And each and every day, this one thought will become two thought will become three, four. And over a period of time, it will become like a trauma. like a scar, like a scar in your head. So I feel people should get in touch with the softer Kali side of themselves. Not the Kali side, not the aggressive, not the
Not
aggressive,
exact Kali.
aggressive. Otherwise, you might end up destructing yourself also.
No, you should be able to see that, like, you know,
Yeah.
then that is how the enlightenment happens. That is how life will be get easier. Like, you know, otherwise, being expressing nice, you will carry all the ugliness in your life. Like, you know, you have to carry all these baggages.
Yeah,
You know, whatever brings in life, you have to keep carrying all those stuff, because you felt like at that particular point of time you didn't express your own self correctly. So then all this, whatever happens in that particular moment, it will keep going with you from that moment of time.
It's the same. It's also
and you may not be able to say no later on.
No, exactly. And it will be, the person might be like, is she crazy? Like, this happened 2 weeks back and she's coming now and she's dealing with it, and it is stale. The issue is stale. It doesn't, because there is this saying which says, the X forgets, tree remembers.
What is that?
X, the one that cuts the tree, that forgets that it has cut the tree, but the tree remembers that it has been cut. So when a person tells something very nasty to another person, the person who has heard that remembers it, but the person who has uttered it forgets it. So then and there, if we like make peace with it, it's good for the person who heard it. Otherwise, if he goes back to that issue after 2 weeks thinking, no, this is really wrong, how can that person say this to me or do this to me, even at workplace, then it will be too late. I think then and there we have to deal with the matters. And it's also same in terms of love, expressing feelings. Most of the time people don't express their love or genuine care and affection for the other person, because they think you don't know what the other person might think. They just want to be very civil, but the time might just go off and the person might also go away, and then it will be too late, and again that will become a suffering in his head.
Exactly.
It will become a suffering in his head that, oh, I should have expressed. It happens between relatives, blood relations, brothers, sisters, children, parents. It happens a lot. I think people should be very, very much in touch with themselves, both the positive and the negative side of themselves. The darker side as well as the other side is also called as what do you call the good side of a person? If shadow is Kali, what do you call light?
It's shadow is Kali doesn't mean that it is bad side. Understood? Like, it's not a bad side.
Okay.
This will make you complete.
Okay.
Something which you never explored, something which you are keeping, like, you know, you never explored that particular side, like, you know.
So
that is Kali.
So what if a person is already expressing the Kali side?
These people are signed people, like, you know, like signs are not, like, you know, they behave sometimes crazy. Listen, they otherwise, like, pandits people are there, they study all this text and they build a life based on that, like, this is how they have to behave, this is how so they have some morality and all those stuffs in their head, like, you know, this is how the society has to behave, this is how I have to behave. If somebody smoke a cigarette, he is bad. Somebody smoke something, he is a bad. And somebody is because he is conditioned. So these are not right people. Like like if you look into Jesus, what he has done, he said 2000 years ago, I am the king, and if he is very normal person, nobody could have killed him. He was a very strange person,
right?
That's why people got killed. Otherwise, why people has to kill?
Because they're conditioned thinking nobody is supposed to be. Okay, we live in a huge world of ignorance. I think there should be a prevalent peace everywhere.
Do you have any questions about my book?
Book, yeah, I do.
What is that?
Okay. So the question about the book is, from what I've heard, let me ask you, what is Tantra?
Tantra is the technique, like for example, what is yoga? Yoga is the state of mind where you 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 are complete. Like I said, there is two sides in your body or your consciousness. One is Kali side and one is Shiva side. We can say it is Maya side and another one is Shiva side. Okay, so you experienced this Mahamaya side and you experienced Shiva side also, and you take both together and it will become yoga. Yoga means it's united. Yoga means union. So you united that two into a single side. That is what the Shivalinga shows. It's when it's comes together, it's complete bliss. It's pure bliss. So in that, it's a kind of orgasm itself actually. So this is called Mahasamadhi. That's why we dip the water on Shivalinga all the time. Because it has to be kept like that because it's so energetic. Like once you unite this together, it will be so energetic, and you experience complete bliss. You experience, like, you experience that you never existed. See, you feel like you existed. Okay. So when you experience the ecstasy, you feel
Non-existence.
you feel that you never existed because you can see what happened to you thousands of years ago, and you can see what will happen to you after thousands of years ago.
Okay.
So
you mean to say Tantra is a technique wherein you achieve a pure bliss and ecstasy?
no, I told about yoga. When you come into union, you can experience complete bliss. Tantra is the technique to reach there.
Oh, okay. So yoga is experience of the union of Shiva and Shakti, and Tantra is a technique to reach
that particular
stage. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So there are so many myths and concepts and beliefs about Tantra. When I was, when even I didn't know, actually, even now I would like to say that I don't know exactly what Tantra is, and I'm very curious and eager to do studies on this particular subject. So, but when I was, when I tried to find out what Tantra is, I've read it. I've read that right now in India, it is, I don't know if it is true or something. They say it is prohibited or something.
Why?
Tantra.
Who can prohibit Tantra?
No, the Tantra, it's not.
Why it is prohibited?
Tantra rituals.
Something is prohibited. For example, offering animals.
Okay.
So these things they don't feel good with the society. So they prohibit it.
It's another,
in some places. No, but there is nothing wrong in that. Like, some religions offer, like, we eat halal food, right? Like, they give it to their
as
god, then
offering.
it become halal. Once they offered the food to the god, what they believe, then it is known as halal.
Okay.
So if some people can do that, there is nothing wrong in offering some animals to
okay.
goddesses.
But what do you think the Atman of that particular animal go, like Atman? Because each and every animal there is a Atma. Right, so when the offering is done, so according to the beliefs in Tantra,
it's not like a everyday offering, na? Like 3-4 times in a year.
Yeah, of course. Even in a one day, I want to know the Atma becomes sacred. The Atma of that particular animal, let's say chicken or goat or whatever they offer. Does that Atma become sacred, or why are they offering that animal?
Because whatever we all comes from we are all apes basically. Like we used to kill things in ancient times and stuff like
Okay,
that.
okay.
So that time they used to offer the animals to the goddesses,
Okay.
or whatever they believe sacred, because that time they believed the earth is god. So they started to offer things to whatever they feel okay to. So that time it went into a religious practice. They started to
Practices.
offer, because it's completely devotion. When you are into complete devotion, you can transcend your own self, like what we can happen in the tantra. Like this there is 112 techniques Shiva has been teaching to the Shakti. So these techniques, if this is very scientific techniques, like if you can experience the bliss with these
Scientific.
112 techniques, but also you can experience this with a highly devotion also.
Okay.
So when you offer an animal, you're really offering to your own goddess in the way you feel. So these devotees, they feel good about it. So what is wrong in that?
Okay. So, but then it's
If
not
they are offering a human being, it is a wrong thing.
wrong
Like
thing. Yeah. Okay.
like
But I would say, I would like to ask, it is like, it's not mandatory that they have to offer animals. You can attain whatever, even without offerings as well. There may be other practices. So we can't say this is a very, very strict ritual that an animal has to be offered, because
see, like if you in tantra, there is, you can experience so many kind of feelings when you go
apart
deeper.
from the sacrifices.
But I'm saying, when you experience life in much more deeper side, you can get into different layers of your mind. Okay, so to get into this kind of experience, sometimes people are scared. So this kind of offering can help in that way also. Like they suddenly see blood, suddenly see something is shouting. These things will bring different kind of feeling to you.
Okay.
If you are into some places like that, it will bring different kind of feeling to you. Like somebody is walking on the top of the
fires,
and they put the shula all over their body, and they cut body, and this will actually transcendence, like you to get lost of the body consciousness. In that way also it will help actually.
And tantra, is it necessarily tantra practices, rituals involves a male and a female? Is it true?
Because it's Shiva Shakti.
So when you're practicing, there has to be, like, let's say if you are practicing, if you are using the tantra technique, so you need a female partner along with you to.
Some sadhanas,
Some sadhanas, okay, but not all of it.
Not all of it.
And through tantra also we can gauge the astrology as well, right? Like tantric astrology.
Astrology, what it does is, like astrology is the map. Is the map with, in that we can see the positions of the planets.
Okay.
So that we can actually bring ourselves down to the yoga.
Okay.
We can get a union inside of ourselves.
Okay.
So if we practice some, like for example, there are different kind of pranas are existing in our body. All these marmas, we call it as marma. All this marma point has one sound. Okay, if we do it properly, if we experience this properly, so what happens is that the with the help of astrology, we can come to the yoga. So there are some practices existing with that you can come to.
Is there a word called as tantric astrology?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a technical astrology. What you can do to come to that.
Okay, so using tantric technique, is it possible to make somebody's life better? Maybe career-wise, yeah?
Yes.
So in that tantric technique,
if your prana is open, you can attract anything you
want. So, but there are some techniques.
Involved.
So I think the listeners should read your book more to understand the techniques, and also follow you more and find out more about these techniques and read your books. Um, yeah, I would. I'm very much curious and eager to read your second book.
Okay.
It is about getting in touch with the shadow self of one.
Of somebody like that.
And it's called as Kundalini, and we will talk about it in our
Next podcast.
next podcast. It's going to be very interesting. I hope the listeners enjoyed our conversation.
I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully. And if they have any doubts about Tantra and also Tantra, astrology, spirituality, and these things, I think slightly they might have understood a bit what we are talking about, and also something about acting field as well. It's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
combination between acting, because I like the way you related acting experiences with the Kali. So that gave a very beautiful perception. Now I think I can look at it that way from now on.
Different perspective.
Whenever I get
So Tantra is all about this changing the perception actually. Like, you know, how can you perceive all this stuff? Like, you know, it's different. How good you can perceive the stuffs. Like how can you see? How can you visualize one stuff from one angle, second angle, third angle? Like 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, 3 point perspective. Like, you know, in civil it is there actually. Like 1 point perspective. You draw images 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, 3 point.
Correct.
Like that. Yeah, exactly.
So I think from what we have spoken and what the listeners have heard, I think by now they would have got it that by understanding and introspecting yourself and seeing the other side of you will help you to solve some daily tiny little problems. Yeah, even the bigger problems can be dealt with, but for that we need to have a deeper understanding. And for that we have to continue talking more on our podcasts. Yeah. And it was great talking with you about this particular subject. I would come back and start being inquisitive to you about few more subjects.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah. Thank you so much.